How's it going, you guys? Welcome to Next Album Please. I am Justin, the host of Next Album Please. And today we are welcoming the chaotic metal group, the Arson Choir. Well, Marc from Arson Choir. Super excited to have you on here, bud. It's been a long day, so I'm not trying to keep you any, any further. So we'll go ahead and get started right into it. So the band. Some people probably are actually wondering, how did you get to that point? Like, how did the band meet?
That's actually really easy because the core group, myself, the other guitarist Eric, and then our drummer Kevin, we've actually bounced around in a lot of bands together. For some reason, like we've developed a really good chemistry with each other, and we originally started in this band called Arms Like Yours.
Okay.
And that was pushing 10 years ago now. And then from there, we just kept the relationship up. We just kept banging around bands. And Arson Choir ended up just being like my turn to take over.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, it worked and the formula kind of figured itself out. And that's, I wish there was more to it than that, but that was the core group. And then Steven, our bassist, he was in a band with friends of ours called Channels. And I really loved that band. I thought that was a great band. And, for whatever reason, bands don't tend to work out.
Yeah.
And he was in the lockout next door to us. And it just seemed like, hey, like, you're not doing anything. We need a bassist. So it just kind of worked out. The only problem with that is he's like a better guitarist than any of us in the band. So the best guitarist is playing bass.
Yeah.
And our vocalist Phil, he was in a band that we're friends with. That band just kind of fizzled out, and he ended up shooting me an email and was like, "Yo, like, if you guys happen to be looking for a vocalist," which we happened to be looking for a vocalist at the time, so it just kind of like fit
almost
together.
Just fell into place.
Yeah.
Nice. That's actually like a really like humble story. You get a lot of the, I've known this guy for 20 something years and we just decided to write music together. You get a lot of that. So for you to have, basically the pick of the crop,
Mm-hmm.
that's, you guys are almost like a super group, an underground super group, basically.
I appreciate that. I don't know if there's anything very super about us. We're definitely a group.
Hey, you know what though? I'm glad that you guys got together. I'm glad that you guys created something because, oh my God, was that EP absolutely stunning from start to finish, man. It was really good. Nice, the Sound of Inspiration sweatshirt right there, though.
Thank you. Yes, that. That's my dude Chris, and he fucking. Oh, can I curse?
Yes, you can.
Okay, he fucking bangs.
Yes, he does. I had the privilege of interviewing him a couple weeks ago, so it's been fun.
That's awesome. He's an amazing dude, an amazing talent.
Yeah.
I will always do my best to push my friends' bands because I'm just that kind of dude. So
yeah,
Sound Ends Creation, he is next level talented, and the fact that like I get on the phone with him, not the phone, but like I get on the messenger with him, and the dude is crazy motivated.
Yeah.
I wish I had half the motivation that guy has.
Yeah, he does have a lot of motivation, and for him to operate, not only his own, band, his own thing, he's also got his podcast as well, which was like, wow, and they're both simultaneously super good, so it's like good for him. Definitely, listeners and people watching, go check Sound in Creation, please, because it's really good. So you guys basically, like I said, you guys created this super group, and the style for people that haven't got a chance to hear your music yet. How would you describe it?
Oh wow, we've been lucky enough to kind of be lumped into the like mathcore community, and I very much appreciate that. I personally don't think I'm good enough to be a mathcore guitarist. Like, the dudes that I think are very talented are like Chris Arp from Psyopus, Chris from Sound That Ends Creation, Brett from Steak Sauce Mustache. These are guys that are very articulate guitarists, and I just don't think I'm up to that level yet. But I consider us like diet mathcore.
Diet math. I like that.
We're the gateway to heavier mathcore, and yeah, I've kind of accepted that, like, I'm trying to do more and push myself harder as a guitarist, but yeah, like chaotic, energetic, honest. We try to get whatever emotion we're feeling into the music, and yeah, if you want to call it mathcore, like, I'm totally okay with that, because I actually appreciate the idea of like mathcore being a blanket genre where you can throw in jazz, pop. You know, there's so many like little nuances that bands add that are in mathcore, and they have the ability to do that because they're not bound by like, oh, I have to be thrash metal today, or I have to be death metal all the time. Like, the umbrella term mathcore, you can fit so many things. Even in prog metal, you know, you can fit so many other things in there that I think that helps. I think that helps to not limit you to one thing.
Yeah, and I think you know, you spoke about it very clearly on that too, because to me, math core is like the chaotic the twin brother of prog. You know, you got prog that's real calm and, you know, good listening to. Like, if you're, you know, you just need something mellow, that's perfect. I mean, some people think mathcore's mellow. So there's certain songs where I'm like, you know, just like, as soon as I get up in the morning, that's what I'm putting on. Sure. You know, and they have that similar aspect to them. You know, both have so many genres put in one. To me, I don't know if it's just because I'm an older dude or not, but I feel I get hardcore from you guys.
Okay.
And I get that good, like, old school hardcore from you guys, and but with this new modern metal feel to it. And to me, I think that's what really sets you guys apart. You know, you guys are definitely set apart than other bands like Fawn Limbs, 156, Callous Dowboys, like all those guys. You're part of that realm where, I don't know, it just, there's something different about you guys. I don't know if it's the energy, because there's so many bands out there that are good, but they just lack that energy. And I haven't got a chance to see you guys live, which I don't know if you guys are. I didn't get a chance to look to see where you guys are from. But if you guys ever come to California, like, I want to go, because hell yeah, like I got a chance to watch some of your guys' YouTube videos, and the energy is astounding from you guys. You definitely do not make a boring show. I will say it had me so pumped. I literally wanted to start slamming right here in the kitchen. You know, it's just it really did, and I just wanted to definitely talk about, like, your creative process. How did you guys get to this point? I know everybody has their backgrounds, and, you know, everybody kind of puts them in. We know that part, but what set you guys to where you are now?
Sure. There's a lot to digest in what you just said. And first and foremost, thank you so much for even putting us in the same conversation as something like the Callous Dowboys, because I look up to those dudes, and the girl as well, because they are, for me, they're setting the new bar for the next level of what's coming in music. And I think whatever their next endeavors are going to be are really going to hopefully wake up the heavy music community to something that is new and fresh.
Yeah.
So thank you for even putting us in that.
Well, you're right there with them, though. You're right there with them. Don't count yourself out, because I feel that you guys, you know, the bands I mentioned, and you guys included, and you know, Sound, you guys are all the front runners right now of this underground scene that I just need to pour down people's throats to understand. You know, I deal with music all day, from hip hop to jazz to country. I try not to touch country, but I do. But to metal, and it's like, there's so many different genres and all these bands coming and artists coming. I can't say it more with more, I don't know, passion, I guess, isn't to say that you guys are the up and coming metal band. And I think in the next 5 years, yeah, you guys are going to be killing it. I'm lost for words because you guys have come so far, and so, but I cut you off. Go ahead. Talk about your creative process.
As far as where we're from, we're actually from Los Angeles. So we're based.
Nice.
The majority of us are based in Los Angeles and Orange County. So hopefully when shows come back to LA, we can actually have you come out and we'll figure something out. Creative process isn't the energy thing is, I think, what you touched on the most is having to be a band that exemplifies pouring out energy on stage, is mainly because we were all going to local shows and seeing a lot of good bands. Don't get me wrong, very talented bands, but bands that were very content with, like, let me see if I can get my guitar and show you. It's basically getting up there and just going.
Yep. And doing one crab walk.
Yeah. And if you're playing complicated stuff, I totally get it. Like, I totally respect it. But at the same time, like, you're there to see a show. You're there to experience a show. And for us, it was very much like, we can't express this music by standing there.
Yeah.
And it's very tough for us to it's tough for me, it's tough for Phil to just stand around and do it, because you have all these things that you're talking about, that you're feeling, these emotions, and they have to come out. And we felt like it was for me to get these ideas out, to get these songs out, it's a form of therapy. So there's no better way to physically get those things out than just to have to force your body to move around and enjoy yourself. And I hope that those feelings can get conveyed live. And I hope that the crowd can kind of respond to that and go, oh, like, I don't know what this is, but I definitely feel something with it. Like, I want to move too. And we've had guys that want to, they want to dance, they want to slam. But my favorite was, I don't know if you ever get a chance, but on the Instagram, on one of the stories, we were playing a show and all the kids in the crowd decided to sit on the floor and start rowing.
I've never heard of that before. That's awesome.
If you ever get a chance, it's on our Instagram. It's on our stories past. And yeah, the whole crowd decided, well, we don't know what else to do, so we're going to row. So they had a crowd of like 14, 15 kids just in a row, just rowing to the music. And yeah, that was my big highlight for that.
Honestly, I don't think 31 years, man, I've never heard of a crowd sitting down and rowing. That's amazing. That is like, that would be a highlight for me too. I wouldn't even know.
Apparently it's something that's big in Europe. Like, apparently, I don't know if like it's a metal thing in Europe, but I have seen a few European shows where 50, 60, 70 people will get down and row, and I'll take it. Yeah. I'll take it. If you're having a good time, I'll take it.
Any movement is the best movement. That's awesome, man. Like, so you guys pretty much built your entire group off of, passion, and you don't get that much anymore. You get a lot of people that are their focus is on the music, which, don't get me wrong, your guys' music is top tier, but the passion is, I think, is something that drew me even more. And I feel that, like, I was happy with Invisible Monster. I was mad that it ended so soon. And I've said this before with other bands. I hate EPs. Yeah. I hate them because I'm selfish and I want more. I don't want to stop. But it did give me a chance to, to go on and, Revenge My Love, the single that you guys dropped, at least on Spotify. I haven't got to check out if you guys have anywhere else to check out music, which we'll get into that later on too. But Trophy Nation, like, you guys went from Trophy to Invisible, and I honestly can see the growth just from the band aspect. You know, you guys, it sounds like you guys have been, you know, doing music for quite a while. So, you know, maturity level's probably already there. But as a band, you know, you have to be together for quite a while for that to grow.
Sure.
And you could tell. You could just tell just from an EP, and that's insane to me. So, how was the recording process of Invisible Monster?
Recording for so the two things I want to get out of what you said was the passion. You know, I appreciate that, because there is a lot of passion there. I've always felt like with whatever we're doing, first and foremost, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I feel like that applies to a lot of aspects, in not just this band, but you know, in life in general. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, then you really shouldn't be doing it.
Yep.
Even the most like tedious thing you can think of, you know, a lot of people don't like doing like guitar repair. I love doing guitar repair because I enjoy it. It calms my mind so I can focus on just this one thing. And I try to apply that to the band as well. You know, if we're going to be doing something, let's enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah.
The recording process was tough. We actually started with one producer, and he ended up doing the drums, which we went to a studio in LA, and he started there doing the drums, and it ended up just being a relationship that wasn't the most productive. Not because he wasn't talented, not because, you know, whatever. He had another opportunity with a very much larger artist than us that could pay him much more than we ever could. And by no means is that a slight at him. It's something that happens.
Yeah.
He got a offer, and he prioritized that, and we said, you know what, dude, like we can't match at all what he's gonna be able to pay you. So we ended up going with an old friend of ours that was available and within our, you know, our measly hardcore band budget range. And he pulled off something that I couldn't have asked for more, because, you know, we were in the middle of finishing up Invisible Monsters. We didn't know who was going to mix it. We had an idea who was going to master it. And then it just kind of lined up where it's like, yo, this kind of works, and these tracks kind of bang. Like,
Yeah.
let's finish the process. I know it was short, but let's finish these 4 songs and get them out no matter what. Because at the time when we had finished it, there was no COVID. We didn't have to worry about, you know,
Yeah.
we were worried about like, when's the release show? Who are we supposed to pitch this to? Stuff like that. And then it just became, you know, John, what's his name? Casual Wolf finished it, finished the engineering, finished the mixing. We were able to send it over to Chris Crummett for mastering. And once we got it back, it was just like, okay, so now what? Because it was done.
Yeah.
We were done. We were like, we're done. What do you want to do with it?
Yeah. And you released it when?
We released it. It was fully released October 2nd.
Yeah. See, and it's not in the, well, I mean, we are in the heart of COVID right now, you know, and for a band to put that much, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into something, and you can't even properly release it, because you could throw it online, perfect, you know, whatever, okay, but the release party is where it's at. I understand that. So that for you guys to release it, you guys did take a chance, you know, but it proves to me as a listener that you're not just gonna hold off and wait just because some bullshit's going on, you know. And it could be anything. That's why I say bullshit, because COVID is, you know, very real, and you know, I have my thoughts on that, but it's the fact that you still took the chance and dropped this EP, it shows, you're here for your fans as well. You're not just here for you guys. So that's awesome that you were able to drop it in October, because I don't know if I would have been able to wait longer, because I actually found Trophy Nation before I found. Yeah, I've been listening to you guys for quite a little bit, like I want to say end of 2019.
Okay.
And I believe so. I have so much, man. It's just
It's okay.
But it's when you guys drop that, and the first time I listened to it, and I think the first track is My Chemical Curse.
Yes.
That chaotic, like crazy guitar play that you guys have in that beginning, for you to go to someone that did you guys ever work with this person before that recorded you guys?
You know what's funny? We did. He was an old bandmate. We kind of switched roles where we joined his band.
Oh, okay.
And then when that band kind of fizzled out, Arson started. So it was kind of like, do you want to record us? And it happened to work out.
I mean, well, he nailed it. He nailed it. I mean, yeah, the band has to know what they're doing as well, which you guys do. You guys practice these songs. You guys created them. They're your babies. He had to do something, especially with quote-unquote mathcore or hardcore, any type of metal. It's very finicky. In my opinion, metal is the hardest thing to record. It really is, because if you have too much static noise can kill an album. And, depending on how you use it. But he nailed it. I couldn't have been happier with, as a listener and a consumer, I could not be happier with your guys' EP.
Well, thank you, buddy, because I without like going into like crazy detail about accounting, like without a much more significant budget and traveling, I don't know that we would have found something in California that would have been able to capture what we do. I've been able to talk to guys in Florida, to guys in Michigan, Georgia, who are all very familiar with this style of music and can capture, guys that have done like Under Oath, Norma Jean, The Chariot, Dillinger, guys that can capture a mathcore sound much more competently. Mm-hmm. So to do it in Southern California, especially, there were a lot of guys that were ready to do it in the box or ready to do it in the computer. And it's a little bit, I feel like that takes away from what we do.
Yeah.
A little bit. And Casual Wolf was very much able to compromise and figure out how to go, well, I don't have $30,000 in studio stuff. So how can we make that work for you guys with what I have? And I think it worked out. I think it worked out to the best of everybody's benefit, because, he's getting a lot more, I don't know if the word would be studio work, but he's getting a lot more invested in his studio, to where I think he's like a few albums deep on his new record, and they haven't even released anything yet.
Wow.
So it's like, it's kind of like a good progression of, like you said, it's a good growth.
Yeah.
Within both sides, where it's beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, too, a lot of bands out there, listeners and people watching the podcast, don't let the money discourage you as a group as well. Even if your recording sounds like shit, release it. Mm-hmm. And you can always remaster it later. It's no big deal. I mean, hell, what is your guys' age group, like age range?
Like mid-30s.
Mid-30s. Okay, so you've been around just as long as I have, and
yeah.
And it's like I played shows, I've recorded in a closet on an MP3 player before, a whole band playing and recording on an MP3 player. You got to remember those sounds.
Oh yeah.
And that was the most hardcore shit you could listen to, is on MP3 players. But The one thing too, I think that also sets you guys apart, kind of going back to what I was saying, is the the instrument play is super intricate. And for it to be as chaotic as you guys do have that chaotic sound. It's almost like, I guess you could call it really mathcore, because everything is down. Like every note is hit on time. Everything. I don't know. I just couldn't. I couldn't find not one damn thing wrong with it, and that's like my thing. As a reviewer, you have to strip it apart,
Sure.
and and I don't like bringing anybody on here that I'm just gonna tear down, obviously. So that's why I keep saying, people that come on the podcasts and I have on here on the show, I like the music, but I can always find something, like just a little something. I could not find anything with this EP, besides the fact that I feel I was totally my cat's throwing all my ornaments all over the place. Hey,
Okay, I got
knock
the
it off.
dogs.
Hey, we're fur babies are number one, here with us. So, I felt like there could have been more, but I've had this conversation with other bands before. It wouldn't have fit. Maybe these 4 tracks are there for a reason. They're there because those ones fit perfectly together. You don't want to throw something in there and then totally. I'd rather listen to an album of 4 songs and be like, damn, I want more, than listen to an album of 5 songs and think, oh man, that middle track was just shit. Why'd they put that in there? So was that your guys' thought process on that as well?
So the thing with the technicality, the one thing that you mentioned was the technicality, and a lot of that comes from like us wanting to push ourselves as much as possible. And like you said, while you're pushing yourself, there can be those hiccups, or we call them flubs, in the playing, like sour note, or missed input, or missed timing, something like that. And I think a lot of that just comes down to hammering away as much. A computer can fix a lot of things. What a computer can't fix is putting life back into somebody's playing.
Yeah.
And we've tried to make it a point to, we write together, we practice together, we work on as many things together as a band as possible, because I feel like that's going to be better than me recording a bunch of tracks to the computer, sending them to the drummer, him padding something out in MIDI, and then me relining it up. I feel like somewhere in there it kind of sucks the soul out of the music. As far as it being a 4-track EP, I think we started with 8 or 9 tracks, and we kind of tapered it down, and we're like, these fit together, and these are the best of what we can do right now. We're currently in the process of writing whatever is going to be next, and we're going back and forth with the guys and the label, and trying to get 22 songs together, and then whittle that down to the best, like 8 or 10, and then even going from that, going, okay, well, do we split this into 2 EPs? Are we doing a full length? Are we doing, the problem is the music industry and the music market has changed so much that it's like we're being told by different people, like, is a record even relevant? Is an EP even relevant? Do you just do single, because then you can push it as like single music video content, playthrough content. That's going to last you longer than doing 10 songs, and in 10 songs dropped in 1 month, and then they're gone. You don't hear about it again. Or do you do 10 songs with 1 song dropped a month for 10 months, and now you have 10 months of content, rather than 1 album that drops in September?
Yeah. You've actually, man, that is the one thing that I just can't grasp, is the music industry's ever changing, and I think it has a lot to do with the internet. The fact that we can put out a track a month is way more than what we could have done 10 years ago.
Right.
And, and it does like bring you to the point, okay, well, do I do continuous content or do I just do this one massive drop? And it is a hard decision. And I as a band, it's probably a top 5, hard decision. It's got to be one of those 5.
So I'm very lucky in the fact that I don't know if you can see her, but she's right there. My girlfriend works in the music industry, and she works with a lot of like higher tier metal bands that are able to release, these big releases, and I'm lucky that I get to be kind of able to see what things go on behind the scenes. And in that kind of industry where a larger band has an audience already and can release 10 songs and then across the 10 songs do things as it's already out. I feel like with us being a lower tier band, being kind of not on the bottom, but like low to mid tier, like I try to break up bands to like low tier, low mid, high mid, stuff like that. Right now I still feel like we're on the low mid tier where there's still a lot of people that haven't heard us. There's still a lot of time for people to discover us. But there's only so much time that I feel as a band we have, able to use. So how do you expose more people over a shorter amount of time than how do you expose the most amount of people in just like a week?
Yeah.
The internet, like you said, the internet has changed that, and it's made a lot of people feel like they have music ADD.
Yeah.
Because I could go on my old man shakes fist at cloud rant, but I feel like a lot of music right now is written for TikTok, and you make a 15-second hook, and that goes viral. And we've gone from kind of like what you said, it's like 12-song albums where you can digest an entire album to, 5 to 6 song EPs to 3-minute singles to 15-second, TikTok videos.
Yeah.
And the attention span keeps on getting smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's a weird evolution that I'm always trying to understand. I'm always trying to be ahead of the curve, but that curve is getting so hard to predict now.
And you know what? It is, especially, and I hate to say this because I always told myself, when I was younger, I'd never say this in my entire life, but we're getting fucking old, and that's the thing is it's hard to judge what's going to happen next. Did I ever think that crying into a microphone, to a hip hop beat was ever going to be fucking popular? It's huge. It's huge now. I never thought that. I thought, oh man, people are going to think I'm this emo bitch, and now it's huge. So you're right. It's so hard to judge what's going to happen, and you can't. You just got to go with the flow. But that also comes with the decisions that you have to make. How do you get these tracks out there? How do you get people to notice you? Mm-hmm. And I don't think you guys are going to have that problem. I think that you are a treat for the metal community. Same with the other bands that I've mentioned before. I mean, you named one of my absolute favorite bands of all time, The Chariot. I thought they were going to be together for fucking ever, but, shit happens. But I think that you could be the next Chariot. Oh, wow. You can be the next, big band. And it's not just because of the music. It's because of, and we've touched on this, the emotions, the passion that you guys have, the drive to show up to a show, play for, and I'm sure you've done this many times, play for 5 people only, and totally blow it out of the water. It doesn't, a lot of bands lose that too. They go in thinking, oh, I have to play to all these big shows, I have to play all these big shows or else I'm going to be a no one. And you can't think like that. So I feel like you guys as a group fully understand that. you fully understand. You guys are growing as a brotherhood, you know, and you guys are able to make these things. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to take that long for you guys to be noticed because, for God's sakes, man, that EP's good, and it's both of them. Both of them are good. I mean, I don't know if you consider the Trophy Nation an EP, but you know, it's they're still top notch shit. So one thing, you know, we talked about instrument play, which is phenomenal. You guys, every one of you guys, instrument wise, phenomenal. Phil is the vocalist, correct?
That's right.
That dude is a gem. Never lose that gem because you know, I've done vocals for 15 plus years. I've never heard anything quite like him. All in all, you guys, like I said, you guys are definitely different than most bands. But his vocal also gives, you know, you guys that diversity as well. And when you guys first heard Phil, I want to hear that, like, real quick. I want to hear that. When you guys first heard him for the first time, did you guys think, "Oh my God, I needed him," or did you guys already? I think you said it earlier. Did you already know him?
So, man, that's actually a really good. That's actually a really interesting one because we heard him at a show in Santa Ana, and his band played, I think, 2 bands before us. So we got to kind of like peek our heads in and be like, oh, hey, you know, what's going on in there? And I'll be honest, he's a great vocalist, but that band behind him was kind of like, it was okay. Like it did the job, but it wasn't groundbreaking to me. It wasn't going to be like, they were just kind of going through the motions because they were kind of reaching their end. And when we got started with looking with the new vocalist after the guy that did Trophy Nation, which good dude, still love the dude. He just had his own personal issues. We had 3 or 4 in between vocalists. One was a good buddy of mine. One was a female vocalist from a band called Akasha. And then one was another buddy of ours from a band called Farewell. All very talented people, but we just couldn't find the magic that we needed. So we were doing tryouts and getting through people, and Phil was one of them. And I think there were like 2 or 3 other guys. And for me, Phil was very talented, and we connected on a lot of things other than just music. We're both big comic book nerds. We're both big movie nerds. So we had more to bond on than just that. The other guys felt like there were a couple other choices that were probably more, I wouldn't say talented, I would say more versatile. Mm-hmm. Because they had, you know, maybe better singing voices or better lyric choices or whatever you want to call it at the time. Mm-hmm. Because they were just doing songs from Trophy Nation. So they were just, in my opinion, mimicking what the old vocalist did. What Phil brought in was fresh because it was him. It was not just his version of these songs. It was, no, these are my songs now. Yeah. And I'm going to take over, because if you don't jump in a band and go, well, you know, the band already has this history, I just have to fit in. It just kind of feels like a phoned in. It's just a void. You're just creating a void. Yeah. A vocalist has to go in saying, I don't give a shit who was before me. Like, have the respect, but this is mine now. That's exactly it. And we've had that conversation a few times recently where, you know, we've had ideas, or the idea has been thrown around when COVID finishes, that the old vocalist wanted to come back and do a feature, or if we were going to play a show that he could jump on for a second. And Phil was like, yo, we don't even play those songs anymore. Like, those songs don't really come out very often, and we're already writing on the new shit. So it's kind of like, are you doing it for nostalgia's sake? Are you like, we're not old enough to be a nostalgic band yet. Like, we're still figuring our own selves out. Like, and that's when it kind of put it more in perspective. Like, those songs on Trophy Nation mean a lot to me. They mean they're damn good songs. but they are only ever going to be played live until we get new stuff.
Yeah.
And
They're
that ended up being the genesis of Phil, was just like, dude, you're really talented. We really want you in here. You gotta we don't need somebody who's gonna just do a repeat of what we just did.
yeah. Because I mean, anybody could do that, anybody can mimic. Mimicing's not that
Exactly.
hard, especially when it comes to vocals. In my opinion, mimicking is not hard at all.
Right.
To just take it upon yourself to be like, I'm gonna own this shit. That takes a next level. Not a lot of vocalists can say, that they're capable of doing that. So and Phil's higher in what is it? Higher I'm mind
Register?
farting right now. Thank you. His higher register is so crisp and clean as well that I don't think his style, if he was to ever go, would ever be mimicked because
It'd be so tough.
it would be so tough. So that's also another thing, is you got a vocalist that is putting his statement down, and it won't ever be touched. So that's awesome. Man, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but
Bro, I can go all night. That don't matter.
oh, okay, cool. Okay, I got about 5-6 more minutes left. I try to keep my episodes, like you touched it perfectly. Our attention spans are slowly diminishing as the next person is born. So, but anyways, as you guys have this energy and everything like that. Have you ever dealt with performance anxiety before? It's hard to say that to a band that has so much, energy like you guys. And to my people that are listening and people that are watching, please check out their YouTube, because if they did have performance anxiety, you wouldn't be able to tell.
I don't think getting it up is ever the problem, but you know what the problem is turning it off. Is
Yep.
being able to like, right now it's kind of hard. Like, it's one thing to leave the stage and go, okay, like that energy is done. Like, that's one thing. To go now, I think our last show was in February. To go that long and go like, yo, we haven't done a live performance, kind of eats at you, kind of eats at your brain, kind of eats at your soul a little bit, because it's like, I have all these things inside of me that need to come out. I have this anxiety that's just been building up, and I don't go to a therapist. I go see shows, or I go play shows, and that's where that stuff comes out.
Yep.
And yeah, man, you can only work out so much. You can only get so much of that kind of energy. Energy is a good word. You can only get so much of that energy out without like random fighting, like random arguments. Like, I try to do my best to maintain and be composed.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, bro, it's just those days that, like, I'm just ready for an argument. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, man.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? Music's not dead. Social life is not dead. We're just being basically, without a lack of a better term, oppressed with trying, to kind of keep the people in, which in my opinion, it does have its benefits, but at the same time, it's driving us fucking crazy. And my fiance can attest to that. She wants to fucking kill me half the time, because I'm very eccentric. I'm very like, I have a lot of energy as well.
Yeah.
Luckily I have this setup in front of me where I can fucking get it out on Call of Duty or something, but I'm in the same boat as you, man. I haven't been to a show since last year's fucking Aftershock.
Oh wow.
And that's killing me. You know. And I used to be the type of like I toured before. I toured up and down California. I actually got to tour with A Plea for Purging.
Oh,
For
nice.
and that was fun, you know. And that right there to me was life. And to go see all these bands and to go to all these shows and do all this shit, to be stuck into a house,
Yeah.
it's rough. It is
Yeah.
rough. So when you guys get back out there and everything's lifted and you guys have your show, your first show, it's just going to come out. You guys are going to destroy that fucking stage, because the one thing I will always tell a musician, you never fucking forget.
Right.
It's like riding a bike.
Right.
You know.
Well, that first show back is going to be murderous.
Oh,
Like,
it
that
is.
show back,
It's gonna be downright fucking scary.
I'm hoping, you know, we can figure something out with our boys in like Steak Sauce Mustache, Takers Levers, Ursula, like all of our friends. Like, hopefully we can figure out some kind of fest or something just to kind of like get back to some kind of normality with shows.
Yeah.
And kind of what you said right now, like I'm really hoping that when shows come back, people that, like, I've always had to bug people to go to shows. I've always had to be that dude that's like messaging at like midnight, like, hey, like if you're not busy, like I would really appreciate it if you came to my show. Hopefully now people will actually appreciate again, like being able to go out and see bands and see live music and experience that again for, you know, either again or for the first time, where it's like, I just need to go out and do something.
Yep. At least for the first year.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then everybody's gonna go back to normal. But that's the crazy part about it, man. You know, none of us saw this coming, and that's the shitty part, I guess. But I feel that, you know, without taking too much more time, I feel like your guys are on the right fucking path. Fuck Corona, it doesn't matter. Fuck, you know, not towards what you're saying, but that low tier shit that you said, no. In my mind, I do not think that. I think you are way better than most fucking bands that are out there nowadays. It's I just had they're a different style than you guys. They're called Myth of Creation, and I just had them on. Their episode is supposed to come out today, and I don't know, something's going on with Anchor. I can't get it out, but it's, you know, you guys that are coming up, you guys are the forerunners of what metal is going to be, and I cannot be more fucking happy, because we've had these years of shit of, you know, it started back when I was in high school with Attack. I'm sorry, like a lot of people liked them. I fucking couldn't stand them. And it's because it was the TikTok music of our time.
Sure.
You know, it was what was favorable at that time. And you guys are going against the grain. That's what music and metal is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about being against the grain and doing something different, being in your face, being fucking mean. Like, that's metal. And I think metal's lost its way the last couple years.
I'm with you on that, bro.
Yeah, I really do. You know, there's bands that are putting out albums now that, like, you remember Bring Me the Horizon's first album, right?
Oh yeah.
Fucking amazing. New album, I mean, they've kind of gone back to their old ways a little bit, but they're losing their way, and I think what it is too many bands are out there trying to get that money, you know, and get that social popularity that is okay with everyone.
Sure.
I just don't think that's what metal is. I think that we are the armpit fucking genre, and it needs to stay that way, because that's just my opinion.
No. And see, I think you touched on something that's very accurate, where, you know, even if you don't consider us the low tier, for me, what that means is, for the newer bands to kind of rise up and become the next thing, it needs to have those spaces made, because those old bands, the older generation, needs to eventually cycle out.
Yep.
The problem is that those legacy bands that are dope, don't get me wrong, there's some dope legacy bands, but we've been seeing the same bands on the same tour poster for the past 10 years.
Yep.
So for bands like us, the Callous Cowboys, Steak Sauce Mustache, the Sound That Ends Creation, for us to be able to rise up, that means the next tier has to rise up as well.
Yep.
So the I love stuff like Kill Switch Engage,
Howard Jones era.
yeah, trivia, all great bands, but
Yeah.
they need to be able to get to the next tier as well. Like, what would I think? Like something like a Thy Art Is Murder, or like Fit for an Autopsy.
Oh yeah. Oof.
Like mid to high mid tier, right? But they can definitely get to the next tier by starting to sell out like the larger venues.
Yeah.
Well, when they get to that next tier, that means that previous tier can go up one more spot, and we can start playing the like 5, 7, 800 cap venues. But for those things to happen, I hate being that guy, but you got to stop paying for the same Slipknot show over and over again.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that Slipknot poster for Knotfest, and it's the same poster. It's the same poster that was the poster last year, and it's the same poster that was the poster the year before.
Yep. Because
not enough people are willing to discover new music.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of that as well. You know, Aftershock, we talked about that a little bit, and that's the same thing. You know, Aftershock had almost the exact same fucking menu 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row. And, you know, luckily one year, I don't say luckily because Butcher Babies were supposed to play. Tour bus got into an accident. They were all okay and everything. But nothing more played.
Okay.
Never heard of them before. This is before they hit radio.
Okay.
Fucking amazing. Best show I've ever seen in my entire life. But they had to be that way because, like you said, they're that mid-tier band, lower-tier band. They had to prove themselves, which they fucking did, and now they sold out. So it's what it is. But you're absolutely right. People do need to stop paying for that same show, and they need to branch out. But welcome to the West Coast, my friend, because the West Coast, the United States is terrible when it comes to music. We are very closed-minded here for most of the United States. You don't get that open music taste until you go overseas. But the East Coast is where it's at when it comes to people that want to listen to something different. West Coast is very much pop starish, you know, and nothing against the people that listen to that. That's your taste, fine, you know. But the people that put those people, you know, on top, they need to also look at these mid-tier bands as well. They also need to look at the lower guys and say, give them a chance, you know. So
when we like, this is the old head part of me speaking, but I do see a lot of it on Facebook. When we lost Warped Tour, I think that door closed on a lot of low bands that were going to be able to be exposed to a larger audience because it gave them a platform to do it. Luckily, there are guys like Christian from Mathcore Index that are trying to put together like a Mathcore Fest. There's stuff like South by So What and even some of this like Austin City Limits stuff, where they're more open to like, whatever you're playing, just show up. Whatever you're playing, just show up and play. I don't care what it is. Let's just go have a good time. And I hope that mentality when everything from COVID lifts, I hope that mentality makes its way over here and goes, I don't care if you're pop punk, metal, jazz, whatever. Let's just play a show together. Let's get everybody to come out and play a show together.
Because that's the point. Music's supposed to bring us all together, you know? That's like the one thing that we all have in common. Not a single person on this fucking planet doesn't listen to music unless you're a monk. And that's like like literally. And music is supposed to be that one shared talent that we all have, and we're abusing it. And if some people think they're better than others, you know? And I feel that it has definitely put a damper on a lot of bands. And you being around the same age as myself, you understand that quite well. You know, it's growing up trying to get, you know, bands out there. The two bands that I was part of, 10 years with one, 5 years with the other, then nothing ever happened. It's not really the fact that we didn't have the drive or push for it. We just weren't thought, you know, nobody thought about us. So, taking a step back a little bit and talking about your releasing, I think the right way to go with that, in a personal opinion, is this is from musician to musician,
Sure.
is the release every month to keep your content relevant is fucking brilliant.
Okay.
It's brilliant. As a listener, I'm just being selfish. I hate it. But that's just me being selfish. That's all it is. As a musician, I if I had the tools that you guys have now and other bands have now, like, I mean, I do have the tools. I'm not pursuing that part of my, life anymore. But if I had those tools back then, that's probably, I would look at it as a business in how to get more people to listen to me, be relevant.
Sure.
And that's what you have to do, basically. So, but anyways, man, I just want to say thank you. We talked about a lot of shit. This is a really fun conversation. I'm actually, every episode I've had so far, the people I get to meet, this is the best part about this. And the reason why I'm building this is to get people to understand that the little guys pack a big fucking punch. And you need to, and underground music is the best music on the planet. That's just my opinion on that. But Marc, I just want to say thank you so much, man, for just taking time out of your day. I know it's late. Wait, no, you're West Coast with me, huh? That's only 7.
Okay, we're good.
We're fine. But I just want to say thank you so much, man, for coming on. And I see nothing but big things for you guys.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you again for having me, because anytime I get a chance to have these kind of conversations, I definitely always try to make time to have it. I think this is the best part of being able to spread music and spread awareness. So anytime you want to do this, I'm always open. Please feel free to let me know if you have somebody bail or you want to chat. Like, I'm always down.
Awesome.
But yes, thank you again for having us on there. Thank you again for giving any kind of brain attention to my little shitty band. Thank you.
Anytime, man, anytime. And this is the part of the episode I want you to let the people know that maybe not have heard of you guys before. Let them know where to find you.
Sure. So the best place to get us is obviously waragainstrecords.com. I appreciate everything that label has done for us, and you can pick up everything from there: merch, records, pins. The best place to see our music videos are obviously going to be YouTube, just the Arson Choir on YouTube. Our
top notch, by the way. I just want to throw that in there. Go ahead.
We have the Bandcamp, we have Spotify, we have anywhere that you can find your music. Just hit the Arson Choir and you'll hopefully come up on it. After that, you can contact the band on the Instagrams, at the Arson Choir, the Facebooks, which is the at the Arson Choir. Super easy for you. Feel free to talk to us.
Yeah, and before we go, I just want to tell the listeners and the people watching, take time out of your day, check this EP out. You will not fucking be disappointed. If you like the chaotic sounds of the Chariot mixed with modern extreme metal, and also probably the most crisp range from a vocalist that you'll probably hear in a long time, this band is it. The instrument play is absolutely amazing. You can feel the emotion coming through the album, and that's one thing that I'm super big on. So definitely check out the Arson Choir, check out Invisible Monsters. Hell, give all their older stuff, some love too. So just check it out. And until next episode, guys, it was fun. See ya. I can't stay.